Hi everyone, welcome to episode number 2 of the Worlds Adrift podcast from Bossa Studios. My name is Malford, and I am joined here today by the lovely Julia.
Oh, thank you.
And the gorgeous Herb.
Oof.
Ooh,
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah, that's okay, yeah.
You're welcome. You can have that one.
Julia gave a snort of derision at that.
Yeah.
Why not? So, good weather today, hey?
Uh-huh.
It finally cooled down a little bit. It makes the office more survivable. And, yeah.
That's very important to us.
It's very important. We are in UK, therefore we will discuss weather.
That's our MO, isn't it?
Right.
Okay, so we move on then to the first and most pressing subject.
The hot topic.
The hot topic, yeah.
The slightly cooled down topic.
Yes, the freezing cold topic that is the PTS. Hey everyone, it's Malford here. Just to let you all know that when we recorded this, we were still working on the PTS, so it wasn't quite ready yet. But since we recorded it, we fixed a lot of the big bugs with it, and it's now out and available to play. So if you like what you hear, make sure you go check it out. So let's talk a little bit about that. Obviously, in our last podcast, which was only a few days ago, we talked about how that was all looking like it was on track. It's not on track anymore, is it?
Then a boo-boo happened.
Yeah.
Well, first, let's rewind a little bit for those who might have not read about the PTS and would like to know, what is the PTS? What does it stand for?
So the PTS is the public test server. It's our way of getting not quite complete releases out to some of our most dedicated players who want to, jump on it and mess with it a little bit. Because a lot of feedback that comes back into a build or the game really can only come from you guys, our community. And the earlier we get it out to you guys, the better it is. The more quickly we can turn around certain bugs or changes that the game needs to have made to it, or design changes or anything like that. So and this is included in the Founders Pack and also in the Standard and Pioneer packs right now. So everybody who has the game now has access to the PTS. It'll be on a beta branch on Steam, and you'll be able to jump on. The plan is to copy one of the live servers. So the first time we're going to do Kapulka because it's one of the more populated ones and has a lot of, especially a lot of players from the alphas and stuff like that in the closed beta. So we're going to copy that world over, and everybody who has a character on that server will be able to see their character play with their character, and their ships and all that stuff will be on the server. People who don't will have their characters copied over, I believe, but you won't start off with any ships, right? Because the world is Kapulka. And then, so this way we can get, we're not starting everybody off from zero.
Okay.
It'll be kind of where your character is in the game right now, which will allow you to mess with like later game stuff like, exotic engines and things like that. Yeah.
So wait, you're getting transferred with your knowledge or your items, or
Yeah, so you're if you're not
if
on
you're
Kapulka,
not on Kapulka.
if you're not on Kapulka, you just have your character.
Okay.
Nothing in the world, right?
Okay.
But if you are on Kapulka, then it's basically like logging in.
Cool.
And so this will be copied. I think we made a copy today or yesterday. So whatever state the world was in sometime yesterday, that'll be the state that Kapulka or the PTS will release with.
We're recording this on Tuesday the 14th.
Yes. So we are hoping to publish this on Thursday. We'll see what happens between then. Speaking of which, there's been a slight delay. If you have heard about the PTS, there has been a slight delay happening with the release of the PTS. Any ideas as to why?
No, not really. Next,
Next question. Bye.
No. Okay, so the PTS, obviously, this is it's something we haven't done before. We planned to do it for a while, and now we've got the infrastructure to do it. But it did take a bunch of work to try to get that set up. It also so everything that happens on the PTS doesn't come back to the live servers, right? So whatever you do on the PTS, if you destroy your ship, if you spend all your knowledge on swivel guns, don't laugh. Survival strategy. So that doesn't get copied over back into live, right? So it's like a fork that doesn't come back. So that plus the fact that the accounts and all that stuff have to be separated. That took a bunch of work. It unfortunately had some delays But the biggest portion of that was because we're trying to, I think we talked about this a while ago, but Worlds Adrift is trying to migrate to the newer version of Spatial OS. So one of the things that is also coming in this update with the PTS is alliances, and we've been working on alliances for months now. And some of the bottlenecks on this, we're trying to migrate certain aspects of the game, the older game code, onto the newer version of Spatial OS technology. And so we're working quite closely with Improbable on this, but it's, there's some hidden snafus.
Unexpected twists and turns of new tech. Continuous adventuring through technology. Yay.
Yeah. So we're sorry about the delays. I know there were quite a few leading up to this. But game development.
Fun. Well, we're bringing you guys in so you can enjoy this journey with us.
I was talking to the Cloud Council about it just today, and part of the reality of bringing you guys into the conversation earlier and being more open is that we're communicating stuff a little bit earlier, more tentative dates. But that does mean that they are a little bit less reliable. So hope you guys understand that.
Yeah, we're trying to kind of keep drip feeding you information, and sometimes people build their hopes up, and these dates are tentative.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is if you looked at any games company making any game, they're going to have the exact same, internal deadlines, and they're going to miss them here and there because things happen. The only difference is that, rather than you not knowing any different until the whole game gets delayed by 6 months, you are with us the whole way. So you're aware every time that any single feature sort of gets pushed back a little bit because you're involved in the process. So it's no different to the way that the majority of games are made. It's just more publicly facing.
Yeah. There's no big magic to it, really.
We're trying to get better at this as well. We've changed some of our processes. We heard some feedback that, for example, the 2 weekly releases just felt a little bit, a little bit light. And so we're trying to maybe do a bigger drop. So this next update has quite a lot of stuff in it, and so will the one after that.
Actually, James the mod had a question for you in regards to how did specifically for you, how did they convince you to do the every 2 weeks joke in the videos?
I mean, Jesus.
How did they threaten you?
They would just show up. Oliver would just show up at my desk and be like, "Oh, we need you for this thing." And I'd be like, "Okay." And then it's like,
just say this.
Just stand here and say this and point at that. And I'm like, "Oh my God."
His reputation is in tatters.
Okay, and in other news, for the 27 update, which we discussed all of the features that are going in.
Have we talked about the renumbering of the updates yet?
We kind of just started talking about them as 26, 27. But yeah, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, let's explain a little bit. So instead of our old numbering system was sort of an internal, development process numbering system, and we just exposed it to you guys, right? So like 0.22 or
0.011.
Yeah, exactly. Like closed beta was 0.1, and early access was 0.2, and then we just iterated on that, right? But it started to get a little bit messy. There's quite a few decimal places and stuff. So we decided to kind of make it a little bit more friendly for people who aren't following the game super, super closely. So we went back and counted up all the significant updates. And so this next one, which people would have known as 0.2.3, will now be called Update 26. And then the one after that will be Update 27. So Update 26 is the one that will appear on the PTS for the first time and have alliances. And Update 27 is the one after that, and it'll come with a bunch of stuff. So, sorry, your question, Julia.
We basically discussed. No, it's a good interruption. Keeping people informed. Last time we discussed all the content that is going into the 27 update, not the next one that we've already confirmed and are waiting for, but. How are them features doing? Is there stuff that is like absolutely confirmed? Because last episode we were just chatting about nice to haves and like the ideal things that the designers have finished working on. Are there? I know the feature feature cutoff point is still a few days ahead. What have we already locked in though?
So I don't know what you guys talked about last time, but
A lot of things.
confirm all kinds of stuff. I'm sure.
Confirmed. Water confirmed.
Don't trigger Herb.
So we some of the stuff that the designers are working on, which are done to the extent that I'm pretty sure we can just we can confirm it. It's a lot of stuff like crafting cloth, dyeing cloth, making certain so like I believe it's common and uncommon clothing items in the world will have schematics. So you won't be able to find a schematic for an exotic piece, but you'll be able to find a schematic for an uncommon piece of clothing, and then you can craft cloth of whatever color you want, and you get the dyes also from salvaging sort of the scrap that you find in lootables in the world, and then you can make green pants or whatever.
Ooh, green pants.
Yeah.
What a dream.
Green trousers, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for triggering you guys.
No, I say pants as well, which confuses British people.
I'm very confused. I have no idea.
Yeah, what could you? Why are you talking about underwear?
So there's that. Sorry, Malford, you want to talk
Yeah,
about
I was just going to say, we've also done we're pretty sure we're going to get in time the compass. So yeah, the compass is the big sort of almost side quest system that we're going in. We haven't talked about specifically what the faction that are involved in that are going to be. That's
super secret.
Yeah.
Secret.
So that'll be very exciting. But yeah, that stuff is, I believe, pretty much done now.
Oh, you mean the Italian compasses?
The Italian compasses, yeah. We're adding Italians to the game. So you guys at home can find all the great Italian food. There's going to be a mandolin.
All the recipes, the pizza,
lasagnas. Pasta. Yeah.
Let's take a moment of silence for Luigi. Cool. Moving on.
I think cooking is probably is pretty. Yeah, that's pretty much done. It looks like certainly you'll be able to salvage schematics. I don't know if the ciphers are going to get done in time.
Yeah, I feel like they might not.
No.
But you'll be able to salvage schematics for knowledge.
Yeah.
So at least
It's a renewable knowledge source.
Yeah, it's a renewable knowledge source, exactly, which is I think quite important.
Yeah.
For it might be a small thing, but it's quite a difference in how you can play the game a little bit.
And just a reminder, ciphers are basically add-ons to your existing gear to give it a perk.
So you'd be able to, for example, salvage a very powerful engine, and it will become a power cipher, which you can then use to make another engine more powerful.
We have beaten
You
the
slot into
lagging
schematics of
galore.
all engines you make
What
with that
happens
schematic.
there? What caused
You
it?
basically
How did we
modify the
fix
stats
it?
a little bit, right? Well, we're still investigating how it happened because it's something to do with the trees, but which haven't had any change in the codes for a long time. So we're not sure how come that's changed now, but it looks like so players chopping trees and trees regrowing just added to an endless list that kept adding load to the servers, and they kept having to deal with all these trees that didn't exist anymore that were chopped weeks and weeks ago.
Wow.
So I don't know why that's a thing now, and it wasn't a thing, for example, in closed beta when we had no wipes for like 9 months or whatever. So yeah, not sure why, but that is definitely, the trees were causing more than half of server CPU time.
And what about the metal entities?
The
that a thing
metal
too?
things, yeah, they were an issue as well, but they were solved earlier, and it didn't really solve the problem. So, but we solved those as well. So.
Cue X-Files music. Wow. Okay. Well, this is all mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens. Sometimes you don't touch code for months, and then it just randomly decides to act up all of a sudden.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get there.
I mean, it's working now, and people have been saying that it's running smooth as it has been
Before, yeah.
like 4 months ago or something. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. We still have
The
people
Helm,
on it, by the way.
and that being said, Helm Bug itself, because basically what happened is it brought the lag brought up a lot of older bugs that weren't maybe that visible before to the surface.
Yeah.
And now lag has subsided, but people still encounter these bugs, and they have been a little bit confused as to why these bugs are still around. Well, some of them are actually fixed in the next update. but the main cause of it was the lag bringing them forward. Otherwise, they should statistically not be such a problem.
Yeah, the Helm Bug is actually fixed in update 26. So.
Woo!
Nice.
Nice. And now I'm going to introduce a couple of absolutely random questions.
From the community.
From the community. Yes. So, K13R, or I'm not sure how.
Kieran?
Kier?
I reckon they're called Kieran.
Let's call him Kieran.
Or KVR.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Asks, and this is probably for you, Matt. Will the map be redesigned so T4 pirates don't come through to T1 to fuel for fuel and bleep on noobs?
So basically, yeah, this question is essentially on the map layout at the moment. If you're in Tier 4, obviously you don't find fuel there. So if you want to come out and find some fuel, you'll just jump over to the nearest biome, and maybe that'll be a Tier 1. So yeah, I'm redesigning the map at the moment, and this is certainly something I'm going to keep in mind. I'm basically going to be trying to figure out what the sort of key things people like and don't like about the various maps are over the next few days, because I'm going to be starting on the new map for the wipe very soon. Ooh. Yeah, so that is one of the things I'm going to be bearing in mind for that.
Some people actually suggested like having a circular map as a designer. What do you think?
You cannot do that in this game.
I mean, like,
yeah, impossible.
Impossible.
Our tool does not allow it.
Wow.
So,
all right. Well, otherwise, let's think about it.
Yeah, we're working within the limitations of the tool. It's always going to be a square, unfortunately, until we manage to work in hand-drawn maps and things like that. So yeah, eventually we'll be able to make a big hand-drawn system where we can put curves in and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, at the moment, everything is, I don't have any control over the size of a biome. I just place them, and then the walls are generated automatically. And there's no way I can put in, certainly I can't put curves in. I would only way of having something that broadly resembled a curve would be having tons of open spaces in the corners, because it would still be a square.
Oh my god.
It's just the way that things work at the moment. We want to redo them and remake them so they're a bit more flexible, but yeah, they're currently not.
Yeah, I mean that's a topic of conversation for the next sort of prioritization meeting, if we want to move that up to the priority list and try to get hand-drawn maps, and have, for example, one thing that we always wanted was most of the empty space to be expanse.
Yeah.
And then most of the other biomes would be pockets within it.
Yeah.
So you'd have to
Oh, like oases.
Yeah, exactly. So like
Cool.
a remnants would be kind of an encircled zone by stone walls, right?
I had no idea. That's really cool.
Yeah, so it would less be a sort of segmented world and more be sort of a big expanse, hence the name expanse, with these sort of different types of thing that exist in shapes and patterns within it. And we can do lots of interesting stuff with there, like having super, super small biomes with single 1 or 2 islands in them. That sort of stuff is all possible, but not yet, unfortunately.
Okay. Another question from Sneaky Owl. Will there be a new faction like Kyoki Saborians? And if so, will you revamp the map for this new faction that will fit right in?
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of different factions that we could use for this. We've talked before about maybe the Mellifluents. If you read the lore, you'll know a little bit about them. They had some pretty fantastic cities and some cool sort of stuff that went on there, some very good figures that we could explore. But yeah, the next faction probably won't be for a little while. We haven't started on that. I think we have some concepts maybe for the Mellifluents, but nothing beyond concept.
Not talking about the Atlas Compass.
No.
Quote unquote faction.
Yes, that faction is
the magical
one. So that faction is because that isn't a historical faction necessarily. That faction exists as they're a sort of recent history thing. They're maybe started going maybe
Spoiler alert.
10 years ago. I said this on the last podcast.
I
I'm
know,
repeating myself.
They're not the same kind of like culture as the Kyoki or the Saborians.
Yeah, so they won't have map spaces or island creator assets, that kind of stuff.
Ointment is asking, will future biomes be T4 or more? I'm assuming, are we thinking of further difficulty biomes?
So it will be, so we have, I think it's going to be more of a forking thing. I think that there will be more and less difficult biomes that will fit in there. There'll be different challenges. So when people say will it be tier 4? It might be an equivalent difficulty, but the preparations that you'll need to make for it will be different. So it will still be, if you were to jump straight from the Badlands to whatever this next one would be.
To the good lands.
To the good lands. Next biome confirmed, it is the good lands. Then
Full
you
of
would,
Italians.
Yes, it's just chock-a-block full of Italians. It's very good. The food's excellent, and the countryside is just beautiful. No, it would be something that if you were to just jump straight over, you would struggle because the preparations that you need to make are different. It's all going to tie in with the sort of the more environmental stuff that we're doing. So eventually the Badlands are going to be hot, for example. So you'll need to make preparations to your ship to make it so that you're able to survive in the heat a little bit better. And then whatever other things we do, there'll be other environmental things to consider. Yeah, it might be more of a sideways challenge, but it will certainly be a different challenge. But also that doesn't mean that we're not going to make additional tiers in the future where things are, a step up and getting content, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think so. The original plan was always to have like the sort of temperate zones, which now we have 3 sort of tiers within, right? And then we'd have like actual non-temperate biomes. So we'd have the desert one, which became the Badlands. We'd have an ice one. We'd have maybe a jungle one. We'd have, so these would all be the same, like you say, same level of difficulty, I guess, same like sort of strata, but they would be, you'd have to spec your character and your ship and make different preparations, and you'd want to go to every single one because they'd have unique resources and unique schematics and things like that. And then after you've been to them all and done all that stuff, then maybe you can progress your ship, somewhere else. So yeah.
Cool. Or hot, depends which biome you're in. Also, speaking of hot, when you said something about hot biomes, the microphone there just made me want to do the hot line from Fifth Element.
Okay.
That's a fun fact. Anyway.
It's a little insight to the mind of Julia here.
I saw her giggling silently, and I was trying to wonder what it could possibly be.
Which brings us to the most important question by, I can't pronounce your name, I'm sorry, Parasida? Pineapples on pizza, yes or no?
Herb is a no. I'm a quarter Italian, so
You are?
Yes. So I have to...
He appears in the next biome.
Yeah, I do.
Oh!
It's mainly, there's a quarter of the people of me. No, so I have to say no, unfortunately, or my family will disown me. I don't hate on people for liking what they like, but if you put it on my pizza, I will push you down the stairs.
As Italians do. Well, I am a yes if it's not an Italian pizza, because if it's an Italian pizza, it doesn't need toppings aside from the perfect mozzarella. Yes, keep it simple.
Okay.
Keep it real. Right, bringing us on to the shout-outs. Today, it's one very big shout-out to Vloshko, who has provided us a fantastic survey full of tasty information and personally sent me some really cool reading, so thank you for that. And I'm sorry, guys, we're wrapping up now.
We're out of time.
We're out of time, unfortunately, and back to fixing things.
Yes, we have to get back to work. Okay, well, anyway, thanks very much for listening to episode 2 of the World Adrift podcast. And thank you for joining me, Herb and Julia.
You're very welcome.
Yes. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can do so at worldsadrift.com. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter and all of that. You could also tweet us if you like. I'm sure Julia will include our tags, our names in the description. So
dox everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I love you all. Goodbye.
I love that send off.
That's good.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye.